Just a few hours ago, two Zionist workers at the Israeli embassy at the Capitol here in the United States were murdered, shot by what seems to be a member of the movement. They've already got a suspect in custody. I want to condemn this attack for some obvious reasons and for some reasons that are not so obvious, but it's important because I want to talk also about what may happen to the movement in this country now that this has happened. First off, I don't support the slaughter of civilians. That's not the way to go about it and bring justice. These people deserve to be tried and punished and sentenced to jail for their facilitation of this genocide and Israel's many, many, many crimes. Albeit these two did work in the Israeli embassy, which is an arm of the propaganda machine Israel has set up to disseminate propaganda internationally. But that's besides the point. I'm also very afraid that the Trump regime is about to turn around tomorrow and use this attack as a pretext to violently crack down on the movement within this country. The Trump regime has already been deporting every student they can manage to justify deportation so far who support Palestine and criticize Israel. And Trump has publicly said that he wants to go after civilians next, and he's trying to figure out a way to do it. Our Department of Justice has announced that they want to file hate crime indictments and terrorism charges against critics of Israel, especially student protesters and leaders here on college campuses in the United States, to jail them. The FBI is already monitoring every American and immigrant and wannabe immigrant who is criticizing Israel or supporting Palestine on their social media, which they have labeled as counter-terrorism efforts in the name of our national security. Us Americans all know what that means. National security, counter-terrorism is just another excuse to invade our privacy and suppress us. The Trump regime also has a playbook that they're going by called Project Esther, developed by the Heritage Foundation, the same people behind Project 2025, whose whole purpose is to suppress and eliminate the pro-Palestinian movement here in the United States and especially on college campuses. What this has been reminding me a lot of is the assassination of German diplomat Ernst von Rath by a Jewish activist, which served as the Nazis' pretext to launch the Kristallnacht, a pogrom against Jewish people that was the transition between discriminatory policy in Nazi Germany to violence and destruction against Jews. The stage here in America has been set in a similar manner with discriminatory policies surrounding free speech, freedom of protest, freedom of press against everyone across the board who supports Palestinian human rights or criticizes Israel, which really amount to the same thing. And I'm afraid this may serve as a pretext for a massive and violent crackdown against us here in this country. Like I said at the beginning of this video, these Zionist embassy workers deserve a trial, not being murdered in the streets. We can guess what motivated this attack, and it probably has nothing to do with anti-Semitism. This probably was not motivated by anti-Semitism, but the fact that Israel has live streamed a genocide to the world for 2 years and counting, and all the world has done is sit and watch as it's happened. Obviously, and with how dire the situation is right now, people will be driven to the point where they take it into their own hands to do something, anything, to try to stop this. It is interesting that this comes as Israel seems to be entirely losing the narrative. European news outlets are fast abandoning their manufactured consent they've given to Israel for the past 2 years to quickly try to wash their hands of the blood. Piers Morgan even called it a genocide yesterday, which obviously doesn't absolve him of everything he's done. But just to my point, those in America are even labeling Israel's Operation Gideon's chariots as a final solution for Gaza. So it's quite convenient. Anyways, I encourage you guys to contribute to the fundraiser where we're trying to feed Palestinians in Gaza. We've already raised over $180,000. It's in my bio. Thank you, and free Palestine.